you what, we got about 1, 2, 3 heads that are a little too high.
Yeah.
And what they do is they throw shadows up here.
Put your head
Okay?
down.
So if you get down just a little lower. That's right. Now what I'm going to read to you guys, I used to read to your fathers and your mother every Christmas Eve. It was part of the ritual in our house. And it's the true story of Santa Claus. And anyone who thinks there isn't a Santa Claus doesn't know what they're talking about. And here, from the books of knowledge, is the true story of Father Christmas. Now I'll try and read it to you. This blinding light there kind of put a spot in my eye.
As a matter of fact,
we'll see if I can read it.
put the spot up into the air. That's it. Right up onto the ceiling.
Christmas Eve is the greatest night in the year. It is a night of mystery. When everyone is in bed, down the chimney comes an old gentleman in a red cloak, bordered with white fur, carrying over his back an immense sack stuffed with toys and candy and nuts, which he empties into the stockings of good little boys and girls asleep and dreaming. The policeman does not see the old housebreaker. The black soot does not smirch his beautiful red and white cloak. More wonderful still, the smallest chimney on the humblest roof in all the world is wide enough for his descent, sack and all. The fact is, Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, Bonhomme Noel, Nectaclades, or whatever else children may call the old gentleman with the sack, the fact is, he is a ghost. He is the ghost of that good St. Nicholas who went about doing generous acts in secret, who slipped money, silver, and gold through the keyholes and under the doors of poor people, and made homes happy without letting anyone know how it happened. Nicholas, and he was a real man, Nicholas was a kind man, and now he is a kind ghost. All over the world, in Europe, America, Asia, Africa, Australasia, the ghost of this good old man on Christmas Eve passes down millions of chimneys and fills billions of stockings with trillions of toys and quadrillions of candies. Yes, really and truly, it is the spirit of St. Nicholas who comes across the snow on Christmas Eve. In France, Bonhomme Noel, as they call Santa Claus, is accompanied by another ghost, a thin, weasel-faced old gentleman with a long gray beard, threatening dark eyes, and frowning forehead. This is Le Père Fouettard. In French, our word whip is fouet. So you see, Le Père Fouettard means, in English, Father Whipper. This Father Whipper, who accompanies Father Christmas in France, carries on his shoulder a wickerwork basket filled with tiny birch rods. And he leaves one of these whips for every child who has been naughty, or cross, or greedy during the year. Father Christmas, of course, comes only to children who are trying to be good. There is still another difference in France. Children do not hang up their stockings on Christmas Eve. Instead, they put little sabots, which are wooden shoes, in front of the hearth, close to the chimney by which Father Christmas descends. If you have read Victor Hugo's wonderful book, Les Miserables, you will remember the story of the poor little ill-treated girl who put her shoes on the hearth year after year and never received anything, till St. Nicholas, in the shape of a poor but good man who had been in prison, visited the scene of her misery and gave her happiness. And this is the real mystery. Santa Claus very often takes a human form. There are so many chimneys in the world, and children will wake up so dreadfully early on Christmas morning that nowadays even a ghost has not time to go all around the world in a single night. So the ghost of St. Nicholas splits itself into little atoms of kindness. And these atoms, like seeds thrown from a sower's hand, take root in the hearts of fathers and mothers and uncles and aunts and guardians and friends, and turns them all on Christmas Eve into Santa Clauses. And this, you will see, is the true explanation of Santa Claus. Perhaps it is only in very old-fashioned, out-of-the-way places that Father Christmas really rides about on a donkey or in a sleigh pulled by reindeer, and climbs on roofs and descends down the chimneys with his sack of toys. But if there had never been a St. Nicholas, who was a real man, no stockings and no Sabbaths would ever have been set out on Christmas Eves for surprise gifts. And still, it is still a mystery. If you keep half an eye open this Christmas Eve and see, while you pretend to be fast asleep, your father and mother enter the room with parcels of toys, candies, and oranges, just say to yourself that Santa Claus is employing them to do his will, and that if St. Nicholas had not lived and done kindly things, you would never have had that box of soldiers, that automobile, that farmyard, that grocer's shop, that doll, that sled, that book of fairy tales, those skates, and that model airplane on Christmas morning. Do you think that you are sharp and clever to have found out how the toys and candies got to you on Christmas Eve? It is one of the great mysteries of life. For once upon a time, there lived a rich young man who tried, because he so much admired the kind and gentle character of Christ, to make his money give other people happiness. He went about placing coins and gifts in the homes of poor people. He did good in secret. The name of this young man was Nicholas. Now hear this. We know that he lived long, long ago, in the 4th century after the birth of the Christ child. Too many years have passed since then for us to know very much about him. The legends tell us that he dwelt afar in the land of Asia Minor. After this good, kind Nicholas had given away all his gold and silver, he entered a monastery. He became a bishop. By and by, he became a saint. Children and grown-ups have loved St. Nicholas ever since. It may be that there is no saint quite so popular with everybody. In some countries, he has a special day all his own. Then a man dressed like St. Nicholas rides about on a fine white horse and gives presents to all the boys and girls who are clamoring around him. St. Nicholas is the special guardian of children and sailors. Many churches have been built in his honor, and he is the patron saint of Russia. In southern Italy, the feast of St. Nicholas is a splendid and happy festival. So that one man, who men call St. Nicholas, has for hundreds of years inspired the whole civilized world to be kind and generous on Christmas Eve. He was not a mighty warrior, but he has done more for the happiness, kindness, and good humor of the world than Caesar or Napoleon. Is that not a far greater mystery than Santa Claus and his donkey for his reindeer? Learn from this story that Santa Claus, even if he comes in your father or your mother's person, is still the loving spirit of St. Nicholas. And he was a true man. And that's the true story of Father Christmas. Okay?